Yeah, so it was a very weird injury because it could have been way worse, and I feel like I recovered pretty well with it. The ankle,
Okay.
I feel like I recovered pretty well with it. Especially because I was on it. I started rolling again, probably like 4 or 5 weeks after the injury, but it was light. It was super light. It was mostly with your dad. It was mostly with your dad. I just said, don't beat me up too bad. And he was like, oh no, come on, come on. So
Okay.
it was good though. But my mom actually, she just broke her foot.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she broke her foot. It was not this past Tuesday, the one before when I was at a concert over in Brooklyn. She was here walking the dog. She was hanging out with him because he needs his pills at night. And she stepped into, I guess, like an area that there were missing bricks, and she totally
Like right over here, the red bricks in the village.
Yes,
Okay.
and she totally rolled over on her ankle completely, and fifth metatarsal total fracture across her foot.
That sucks.
Yeah, so the doctor said that she is 6 weeks minimum in a boot.
Okay.
And after the 6 weeks, they're gonna redetermine, and if everything is healing correctly, they'll just keep her doing what she's doing. Otherwise, they need to do surgery. So,
All right.
yeah, it sucks.
Hopefully she doesn't need the surgery.
Yeah, I'm hoping she doesn't need the surgery because she's not thrilled as it is because of not being able to go out and do her thing, and it's a right foot too, so
Yeah.
she can't drive.
Yeah.
So that especially sucked.
The boot's inconvenient, but it's not, like she's on a cast and crutches, so it could be worse.
It could always be worse. I mean, theoretically, it could always be worse, but
Oh, you
unfortunately.
get fucking wise ass on me now.
No, that fucking guy. No, I'm not being a wise ass on you. I'm just saying in general, it could always theoretically, we have to remind ourselves of that. At least I do. Okay. Because if something goes wrong or there's an injury or something like that, for a hot second there, you almost have like a little pity party. Oh shit, really me? Like, oh, I couldn't catch a break.
Yeah.
This and that. It could always be your fucking foot could have ripped in half. Like, even me with my injury, I was out 8 weeks, technically 8-9 weeks until it really felt good again.
Yeah.
But I was still able to move around, and every week it got progressively better. So, I mean, I could have fucking broken it, and I really would have been a problem. Yeah. So, yeah, it could always be worse.
I got you.
Beethoven.
Yeah.
Tommy, welcome back, dude.
Good to be back.
It's really good.
So a little fight week tradition now, huh?
It has to be now. Now we have to do a podcast every time you got a fight coming up.
Yeah, those I've learned that a lot of Ray Longo's fighters very superstitious. Like they, once they get a fight day routine, they just they can't deviate from it.
Yeah.
Like a fight week routine. 'Cause I was talking to Dr. Nick, and
shouts to Dr. Nick.
Yes, Dr. Nick.
Shout out.
I was talking to Dr. Nick about, he wanted to treat me again before the fight. And, I didn't want to get worked on during the water cut because, right now, I'm kind of on the verge of my hamstring cramping up. As I'm sitting here talking to you right now, I'll be okay. Mm-hmm. But, I get that son of a bitch digging his elbow into me, moving me around. Right, I've cramped up on his table before, which I've always dealt with those cramps in my legs. So I just want to avoid that situation.
Yeah.
And, one of the best remedies when I experience those cramps is to drink some water, get some fluids in me. It's not really an option right now. I have a very, I'm on a scheduled water intake. I got no carbs in me. I got no sodium in me. I'm trying to get rid of all this damn water, get down to 155. We'll talk about that in a second. But anyways, talking to Dr. Nick, and I'm like, yo, Sunday morning, after I do my shakeout, you can work on me then. We'll go get something to eat, and then I'll chill out before the fight. How's that sound? And he's like, whoa, Sunday morning? And I'm like, what? What's wrong with that? He's like, well, I've made that offer to work on guys the morning of the fight all the time, and they all say that, they don't want to mess with their routine. They're very superstitious. So I've learned that a lot of those guys are superstitious.
No, you had it.
You know what I'm talking about.
You had it.
But I was like, dude, this is my fourth fight. I wouldn't even say I have a routine yet.
I mean, you probably have a routine already that you don't even know that eventually as you go, 6, 7, 8, 10 fights in, You're like, oh shit, okay, this is what I do.
Right.
I like to get worked on before the fight. I like to eat, Vargas, my boy Alex Vargas came in, 14-0. He's doing his damn thing in the boxing division, ranked 14th in the world. For his division. Yeah. So he's unbelievable, Alex. And
I came to hear of him through you. Seems like a real cool guy.
Really good dude.
I didn't know. I just learned recently that he's also a Suffolk cop. That's awesome. Like that's kind of like the dream right there. You get like that's a great stable job, and you also get like enough freedom to train and pursue things on that end.
Yeah, he was telling me it's definitely awesome. You know, the hard part obviously comes when he has a camp and he can't train to the extent that some of his competitors or the guys doing it at the utmost high level. You know, you have a job, so you can't train 2-3 times a day. You can't like be 1,000% in. You're maybe in 90, you know, like you're 100% in, but you're in like 90 or 80. And, you know, there's a lot of things, there's a lot more responsibility on your shoulders to be at the main job and do your thing. So stuff like that, he said, is definitely a challenge. But he did say that for his next fight, whenever that may be, Suffolk County Police Department was totally cool with him taking some time off to pursue doing the fight camp.
That's great.
And really focusing on it, which, you know, you look at it like that as that's good because they see him as an asset to the department. Like he's a good dude, clean head on his shoulders, nice guy, patrolling the community.
Chances are that he has to use deadly forces much less.
Yeah, I mean, you know, he just knows his shit, and he's calm, cool, and collected in a lot of different scenarios. Yeah. And once again, you go back to like it's a public image thing. They want to showcase that, hey, we're behind the people that also have a life outside of just the department.
Yeah, that's great.
So it was really cool to hear that they were doing that for him because, you know, he's in his prime right now. You want to see dudes do their shit right now. You're going to be in your prime the next 10 years. Like this is you're starting right at the precipice of like what could be something super special. So you're doing it at the perfect time.
Right.
And you got a perfect team around you, for real.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, how could you ask for a better, no bullshit, no gas, no nothing. Like, how could you ask for a better team? Columbo, Matt, Law, like Dr. Nick, your father, just everybody at Sarah's that is rallying around behind you. And you got Fat Boy Burrito making burritos after. I mean, listen, burritos this early in the game? Oh, dude, it's over. It's just getting started.
No, there's definitely... I've learned that it really takes a village, you know? Like, the entire time I was wrestling, I was trying to do this shit on my own. Last time I was here, I think we talked a little bit about how the program was new. And there was kind of a revolving door of assistant coaches. Does it sound familiar at all?
Yep.
Long story short, LIU Post, their Division II wrestling team gets cut around like 1989, something like that. Something to do with money. Almost always comes down to money, of course. They bring the team back and I'm ballparking, but let's just say 2015, 2016, something like that. 2018 is when I graduate high school. I'm a freshman there, walking on to the D2 team. I'm on campus for 10 minutes. All of a sudden, the athletic departments are merging with LIU Brooklyn, and now we're a Division I team. And it was a really great experience. I was really grateful that I got to compete at the highest level. I got to compete with some really good guys. I got to get my ass kicked by some really good guys. But you know, the lack of structure, the lack of culture, the lack of experience at the highest level, both on the athletes and the coaches' behalf, was notable. And that's not talking bad about anybody. It was just new time, you know? We weren't going to burst onto the scene and just start killing everybody.
Yeah.
You know, we were new in Division II, and then all of a sudden we're in Division I.
So that's what I was going to ask you. I actually just jotted that down because I didn't want to interrupt you. Did you feel that you were ready for D1 at that time?
I'm sorry?
Did you feel as though you were ready for D1 at that time?
I wasn't even ready for D2 at that time, man. I was just...
So now, this is a very naive question because I don't know.
Oh, good.
Is the jump from D2 to D1 that substantial, like crazy?
It's not so much what you're doing. It's just the level of competition steeply rises.
Okay.
Not to say that everybody on the D1 roster is better than everybody on the D2 roster, but like all the best in the world are in Division I.
Yeah.
And all the best in the country are Division I, I should say. But anyways, the commitment on our behalf was a bit more. There's actually the NCAA only allows you to practice a certain amount of hours. Obviously, you know, nobody's really checking up on that. But,
oh man, we can only do 6 hours? Damn. And it's like 30 hours into a training session.
But anyways, so like the amount of hours we were allowed to do increased when we went from Division II to Division I. Just yeah, the main thing was the rise in competition, and we actually took on a little bit heavier of a schedule. We were traveling a lot more. But anyways, I keep saying but anyways, so my point is that when I got to post, I was trying to figure it out on my own, because the assistant coaches were always shuffling. And quite frankly, I was a walk-on guy, so I wasn't the kind of guy that they were there to build up and bring up. I was in the room, I was trying to really do it on my own, and it 100% does not feel like that anymore. I started thinking that way a little bit at first because, I was still in that mode. But, I had really begun to realize how much all these different people are doing to make things happen for me. And I realized that, it's good that I can only look at things one fight at a time. But I'm not supposed to be looking at 3 fights ahead. I'm not supposed to be looking at, like, Matt's looking at the board. Lou Neglia, the promoter, he's looking at the board.
Which is fine. Let them look at the board. That's their jobs. That's not your job. Your job is to live presently about the fight in front of you.
Yeah. So I'm kind of like looking at myself as like a grunt here. I'm like a foot soldier. I'm in the infantry. Like, somebody just got to tell me where to go. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna do what I know how to do. I'm gonna let those guys do the planning. Mm-hmm. People ask me, like, when are you going pro? When's your next fight? When are you gonna fight for the belt? When are you gonna be? I'm like, these are not answers I have.
Yeah. All I know is what's right in front of me this second, and it's this fight, May
19th.
May 19th.
Sunday.
Cool.
Yes.
I'm very excited.
Soon.
I'm very excited. Soon. The symphony. I'm probably gonna put this episode out. If not today, I'll put it out tomorrow morning. So I want to get people excited for. I want to get people excited for the next symphony.
I'm excited.
I know you are. You know what? And it's really enlightening to see the passion that you have behind it. Although you have shitty days because you're training so hard, we all do, man. Everybody that does things that they love, not every day is a skip in the meadow with flowers. It's hard work what you do. You know what I'm saying? Like this is a very brutal sport at the end of the day, and for you to put yourself in there and mindset, physicality, everything like that, you got to make sure that you're not leaving it up to the stars being aligned. You're putting the work in. It's not just by chance that you're getting these victories, that you're doing the things that you're doing. You're putting that fucking time in.
Oh yeah,
and everybody at our academy can see it, and everybody that's watching you train and post about training on social can see it. It's what you do in the dark. That's the quote that everybody always
work in the dark to shine in the light.
Exactly.
One
there's
of my
so many
coaches love that quote.
There's so many different versions of those, but that's exactly what it is. It's the amount of work that you're doing behind the scenes is going to culminate and show on that one day. Right. At however many for this division, how many rounds and how much time?
3-minute rounds.
That's what I'm saying. So
only one.
So yeah, but even still,
I'm getting a little cocky over.
No, but listen, even still, 9 minutes total. If you had to do that and go the distance, 9 minutes total. Yeah. How many weeks did you get ready for this?
So I mean, I've been thinking about this fight probably 12, 14 weeks.
Yeah.
But I ended up having a respiratory infection about 10 weeks out, 8 weeks, 9 weeks out, something like that.
Is that when I saw you and you were feeling pretty beat down?
I was just like, oh.
Yeah, you were beat down.
Such a literally 2 weeks, I was off.
Yeah.
I was off my game. Like, I probably didn't train for 6 days, but it was probably 2 to 2.5 weeks that I just wasn't really myself. And then when we closed down the gym for the weekend to take care of the mats.
Yeah.
So, it happened right before that, right? So I was like half-ass training a little bit, just trying to get through it. I couldn't stop coughing. I went to the doctor. First thing they did was test me for COVID. I didn't have COVID. I don't know what the hell it was, but I just could not get my breath going at all. I don't smoke. I don't vape. I don't do any of that. My lungs
doesn't matter, man. Sometimes at the end of the day, man, you're doing all this training.
Yeah.
You're working your body into the ground. And unfortunately, when you... At least in my position, I can't speak for you, but in my position, when I'm firing on all cylinders and I'm really going, my body does start to tell me, yo, you need to slow down. Like we're performing at a high level, we're doing our thing, but at the same time, it's like, we're beating ourselves. The engine can only run so high for so long. So
yeah, that's exactly what happened.
and unfortunately, you want to keep going, and I'm the same way, man. I want to keep training. I want to keep because I want to keep this consistency, and I want to get better, and I want to do what I have to do. But once your body starts telling you, like the first sign, the second sign, that they start like grouping together and becoming more and more snowball effect until you're forced to just go, okay, all right, I'll take the rest.
Well, what actually happened was there was one night I came in, I was just so shot. I was like Matt sent me home.
Yeah.
He literally sent me home.
I was like, get your ass out of here.
Yeah, I was so shot. But it was at that point that I realized, okay, I might have to slow down. But at that point, it was too late. Like, my immune system was taking a downward spiral.
Yeah.
But so like I spent 3 or 4, maybe 5 weeks training hard, sparring hard, doing 2-3 a days, getting my conditioning going, ready to get locked in on the fight. And then about 8-9 weeks out, that happens, pulls me back for 2 weeks. And then I come back and I've got a new perspective on this, right? I've got to do this right. I've got 6 weeks to get ready for this fight. I can't have shit like this happening, I'm training in a calorie deficit 2 months out because I've got to get down to 155, It's not like before when I was fighting at 170, that was a walk in the park, man. I could be at my maintenance calories, having a little cheat day here and there. It was no big deal. I stayed walking around at 180, 185. To get down to 170 from there was a joke, nothing. I mean, it's not like it's nothing I haven't done before.
Now, and truth be told, you stay in really good shape. Like, all bullshit aside, you have a great physique because you're training your ass off all the time. So even at that one, what do you walk around at? Normally,
like
if you're not in a camp, what do you walk around at? Or what do you train at?
Oh, like when I'm not. Yeah. 180, 185.
Yeah, I mean, for 180, 185, you're very lean, muscular, like you're still fast. So for you to get down to 155, that's a jump, man.
It is, but that's what's required at this level of sport.
And now, why did you choose 155 if the last one was 170?
Yeah.
Why did you choose 155?
Let's put it this way. Joaquin Buckley just fought over the weekend. He's 5'9", massive dude, but he's the shortest guy in the UFC at 170. And he actually used to be a middleweight, and he couldn't hang with the middleweights at his height, and he had to go down.
Gotcha.
So I think that just kind of goes to show that height really is a massive factor in there.
Yeah.
Like, the days of like George St. Pierre and Matt Serra at 170, those days are over. Not that like their skills weren't the best in the world, but it's just that
the size difference is big. Reach.
The amount of people in the sport is growing, right? The sport's growing. The freaks, the mutants are coming in, A lot of guys that maybe would have been doing something else, they're doing MMA now. And, I think like the average height of a welterweight in the UFC would be like 5'11", 6 foot, 6'1". That's not my height.
Yeah.
There's a lot of lightweights, 155 pounders that are taller than me. I think this is just the right weight for my body. Listen, I would love to not have to cut that much weight, but this is the reality of the sport. It's like a Mexican standoff. Yeah. We all cut weight. Yeah. So like you can't really afford to be the guy that doesn't cut weight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That was like bodybuilding. The Mexican standoff in bodybuilding was, well, that guy's taking steroids, so I have to take steroids. And then they all point at each other. Well, he's taking that, so I got to take this. Right. And then they just kept growing and growing and growing. And it's like, yo, guys, everybody relax. We don't have to be there. We don't do this right now.
So I mean, realistically speaking, until somebody dies in an MMA fight, that
God damn.
No, but like I'm being serious. Until somebody dies in an MMA fight, the rules around weight cutting are never really going to change.
Weight cutting's a scary thing. So actually, that was one of the questions I had for you was, do you find that the MMA, well, obviously it's going to, taking out of the consideration of the bigger weight cut difference for when you were wrestling versus mixed martial arts now, do you find, let's take that weight difference out, the steepness of it. Do you find that it's easier, the same, harder to do these weight cuts versus when you were wrestling?
Well,
is there more on your shoulders because it's an actual fight versus just a wrestling match? Like, is there similar?
So here's the thing. 2 things, actually. When you're wrestling, you're making weight almost every week. And, This is one of the things that the NCAA has actually done to make weight cutting harder, which is that they've installed strict rules. Like, you wrestle like within 2 hours of stepping on the scale. Like, it's technically like the match has to start within an hour of the weigh-ins, right? So if you're if you're towards the heavier side, like myself, like wrestling goes from 125 all the way up to heavyweight. My point is that, like, you're gonna wrestle within 2 hours of stepping on the scale. So, which makes the process of dropping down to the point that you get severely dehydrated not worth it, because you really can't bounce back that much in an hour. So that was
super dangerous, man. Bodybuilders used to do that shit all the time. They'd get edema.
Yeah.
So they would, not necessarily for the show, but after the show, they'd dudes who don't know, they'd flush their system with tons of food, tons of fluids.
Yeah.
And they would just bounce back, but spill over, and it would be horrible. They'd get blown up ankles, and their sodium and water tables would be off in the body. So I can understand that being a very, very tight window to do anything severe.
Well, that's the thing with bodybuilding, right? Those guys don't. I'm not saying that they're not doing things that are physically difficult.
Well, they don't have to. Well, it's a different performance.
They don't have to do an athletic performance.
Yes, it's different, totally different performance.
They can walk out onto that stage feeling like, and they do, feeling like absolute dog shit.
I did.
Yeah, exactly.
Horrible.
Right. So, like, imagine you had to roll with Gary in the condition you were in when you stepped on the stage.
It's not happening.
Exactly.
I'm sitting out.
Right. So that's why
sitting on the sideline and just waving at him. Hey, man, sorry, I'm just not in the mood today. I'm just like, hey, I'm good on this.
That's why those 1 hour weigh-ins, they kind of punish the guys that weren't cutting weight in a very responsible way. You know. So what the sport evolved to, or the direction the sport of wrestling is headed into, at least what the high level performers are doing, is they're staying in really good shape, and then they're doing a work, and then they're watching what they eat for a couple days. And then they're getting a workout in right before the weigh-ins to pull some water off, stepping on the scale, putting that water right back on, and then they feel okay. They're good to go. That's what I believe is the habit of a high-level wrestler, making weight. You know, when you got to the point where you were pulling off 6 pounds the day before, holding it overnight, pulling off another 2 pounds in the morning, when you have to wrestle an hour after you weigh in, your cardio's not. You do not feel good doing that. So
now on the flip side to MMA, when you start taking into consideration, well, it's different for you because obviously it's not a UFC fight yet. But you like that, right? Yeah,
I got you.
Oh, you got it. You like that.
I got you.
You like that. So anyway, it's different because when you weigh in for your fight, how long do you have before the actual fight from weigh-in?
It varies, but I have almost a full day.
You have a full day.
Yeah.
So is it you get weighed in the morning and then you fight at night, or is it the night before?
No, so the way it's gone for me with Lou and the promotion is I weigh in at you have the weigh-ins between 6 and 8 p.m. the day before the fight. Okay. And then the fights start 5, 6, 7, 8 o'clock.
So you got 24 hours, similar to Vargas with the boxing. Yeah. You have 24 hours to get your fluids back up to what you need it at, but not spilling over and feeling comfortable and good. Yeah. And then you get a little bit of food in you. Yes. What's the food that's worked for you that you feel good? Because you obviously don't want like a full stomach. So
actually, the food I've been eating the past couple of fights hasn't really worked for me.
Oh, interesting.
But since
how so? And I don't mean to cut you off, but how has it not been working for you?
There's a little bit of a story. Let me flesh this out a little bit.
Flesh it out. Let me give it to me.
So first time I made weight for my first fight, 170. The process of getting from 185 to 170 throughout the course of a week was very similar to the way I cut weight when I was wrestling. Okay, so it was nothing I hadn't done before. Stepped on the scale, weigh in, have some water, have some electrolytes, and then me, Matt Colombo, Marcus was fighting.
Shouts to Marcus.
Yep, we go to the restaurant, and dude, we're at an Italian restaurant. You know, we're ordering some chicken cutlets. We're ordering some pasta. We're basking in it. And I say to myself, this beats the hell out of a Gatorade and an Uncrustable in the corner of the cafeteria. So that
you got to put the Uncrustable in the air fryer.
That sums up, I think, the difference between the wrestling and the fighting weight cut.
Yeah,
you know, and again, dropping down to 170. Not a whole lot of water coming out of my system. Not that many days of not eating. Not relatively difficult to do. So, I got away with not eating that clean in the dinner in between the weigh-in and the fight,
Now though,
Yeah, now it's a different story.
very different process. But how did that food make you feel during fight time? Did you feel good? Were you too full?
So I felt good in the cage, right?
Okay.
I never felt like my fights. I always felt my cardio was good, my pace was good. I was happy with the way I performed. Ish. Some technicalities here and there. But I remember, the adrenaline was kind of crazy. But I remember just feeling good physically during the fights. But I will say that obviously I felt great after that dinner. But then, the night before trying to go to bed, and then the morning of feeling so bloated.
Yeah, a lot of sodium,
Eating the pasta, not a smart thing. But you put penny vodka in front of a son of a bitch like me, and
especially with your last name, man. Eating it all up, man. It's the Italian heritage.
But yeah, so
now the quintessential pump up meal for bodybuilders is burger and fries. That's it. No sauces, nothing, just burger and fries.
Okay.
That's like what they always get.
Yeah.
They just get it because the sodium, the carbs, the meat, and that's usually what they just get, and that's it. And then they'll have their meals the next day.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So now this time around, we're not going to an Italian restaurant. We're going steakhouse route.
Okay.
Yeah, which I'm excited about because something I've never had to do was to completely cut out the sodium to make weight.
Yeah.
Now, I had never really paid attention to the numbers of my intake of sodium. I know I intake a shit ton of sodium, right? I'm salting my water. I'm salting my food. I'm salting.
Do you use liquid IV or do you use Element or you just put actual salt in?
No, I have electrolyte powders.
Okay.
I have a bunch of supplements, that I have for my shakes in the gym. I use Waxamaze. I use beef collagen.
Mm-hmm.
I use protein powder. I use electrolyte powder. I take a zinc magnesium. I did take zinc magnesium, because it's supposed to help your sleep.
Yes.
But for like 2.5 weeks in a row, I just kept getting shitty night's sleep. And I couldn't figure out why. My dad's like, have you been taking any melatonin or anything? I'm like, I've been taking zinc magnesium. He's like, so stop taking it. And I stopped taking it. And I was actually sleeping better.
Interesting. Yeah, magnesium is very good when you pair it with, it depends on which magnesium as well. So magnesium L-threonate is the best type to take because it breaches the brain-blood barrier. So magnesium L-threonate is better for deep rest, sleep. And then taking on top of that, taking L-theanine. So if you take a cup, like 200 to 400 milligrams of L-theanine, then the other thing you can take is GABA. But and this is all from Huberman, from Huberman Lab podcast.
You should get my brother in this chair. You and him will talk about.
Oh, for sure.
You and him will talk about nootropics while the day as well.
Oh yeah, for sure.
He can't stop with the Huberman and the nootropics and all.
Oh, he's awesome. He's awesome. Yeah, I got to get him to come in here and hang out. But
I think he's coming to roll tonight.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
I might go tonight. I don't know if my ears are fucking hurting, man. My right ear.
From what? You got a little collie going on?
It's starting to.
Lean into it, man.
No, I don't want to. I can't do it, bro.
Lean into it.
I'm not getting text back without the ear. Actually, maybe the ear will help. Maybe I'll start getting text back with the ear. Maybe. But I can't. But it's just going to be one ear. I can't be shitty at jiu-jitsu and have cauliflower ear.
Exactly. Exactly. So now you have cauliflower ear and you have to try.
I have to get better. I don't know if I want to go to the no-gi class. Anthony just beats the shit out of me. Anthony and Gary.
Anthony beats the shit out of everybody.
Oh, he's awesome, man. He's awesome. And Trotta.
Anthony beats the shit out of everybody that's not named Jason Rao.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, so I'm not named that, so I get my ass kicked. And then Trotta beats me up. Everybody.
Yeah.
Hernandez. Everybody.
Hernandez is...
Hernandez
is a tricky puzzle.
Bro, he's like rolling against Gumby. I'm like, bro, sit still. What the fuck is
trying to fold an elastic sheet?
Oh my god, dude! He just rolls through everything. Like I'll try to take his back, and he'll just like roll through it. I'm just like, I sit down. I go, bro, I'm done. I'm good. Like I'm not doing this anymore.
I've learned to kind of like I have to like roll nasty with him a little bit.
Yeah, but then if you roll nasty with him is different than me rolling nasty with him. I try a little harder. He's gonna grab my neck and just crank it.
No, I don't mean try a little harder. Like, all right, so. real quick. Just few people are gonna understand what the hell we're talking about right now.
That's okay.
But when you're in like a position where he does a really good job of just making it his half guard like impossible for you to gain any ground.
Every time.
Just sit there. Just chill out there.
But no, he waits. He just hangs out and like stares at me.
So you do that too, right? Instead of expending energy while he's doing nothing, you're doing nothing. Make him carry your weight. Give him a little forearm into the neck. Start to wear him down, and then you pick your moment to explode.
Yeah.
And then wait and do it again. So like my strategy is that I know that I'm not going to find a way to secure all of his limbs enough and then pass, right? But I know that my cardio is significantly better than his. So if I can keep going from a static position to an explosive movement, from a static position to an explosive movement enough times, eventually he won't be able to keep up with me.
Yeah, if you could just keep the pedal down, essentially, and then bursts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now listen, that's not a very technically sound form of jiu-jitsu, but you got to do what you got to do.
Hey man, listen, I lean into my grip strength. I lean into a lot of things when I.
I've been loving the forearm under the neck lately.
I'll tell you what, Anthony taught one of the no-gi classes. He taught when you're in someone's half guard, you like cradle them up to you and shoot your arm
hand across the back,
and then grab the other one like this, and you do that as a crossface.
Yeah.
That's horrific. I'm like, that I'm only doing if I know I'm beating the person.
Not just generally speaking, the elbow down across the back and then underhook the foot, like grab the back of the hip, open the leg up. I've been loving that kind of passing.
Yeah. Dude, it's crazy, man. It's human chess. I'd say this to all the people that want to come try it, and they're like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, yo, it's crazy once you start doing this. First off, I forget a ton of fucking moves. I leave a ton of moves, but I'm also a white belt, so I'm supposed to forget moves still.
Yeah.
So like I'll forget. I'll be in a perfect position to get an arm bar, and I'll be like, all right, I guess we're gonna do like a bow and arrow choke. It's like, bro, the arm's right there. Just grab it.
Well, a common saying is that like you talk about like an old school black belt, like you'll say that guy's forgotten more jiu-jitsu than you even know.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
So like,
I'm just figuring this thing out. I'm a year and 2 weeks into my jiu-jitsu journey.
Yeah,
I think I'm doing okay. I don't
want to go down the jiu-jitsu rabbit hole right now.
No. That's why I said I'm doing okay.
I do want to say that you're not supposed to remember every single detail from every class. It's not possible.
Even if I was supposed to, I don't. It's over for me.
Yeah, but like there are some things that you're just gonna be able to kind of tell that aren't really your style. And then there's some things that when you do them, they'll feel right.
Oh yeah,
those are the things that you should remember the details on. Those are the things that you should drill. Those are the things that you should stick with. You know, and I'm just a blue belt talking here, right?
Yeah, but you're a blue belt that has a lot more experience than a lot of blue belts, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I have 10 years of wrestling experience.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So you've been in the the gauntlet before, and you've done different things. This is just a different type of what you were exercise and sport that you were doing.
Yeah, but what I will say is that, you know, I've definitely been one of the most frequent flyers in the gym since it's been like just a month over 2 years since I became a member over at Sarah's, and I've just tried to be as much of a sponge as possible, you know, even with the shit I don't like the leg locks and, you know, the inverting and the stuff that doesn't really speak to me. I just try to soak it up. I try to drill it. I try to get everything, you know, because at the very least, what I've learned is that even if you know you're not going to use a move, when you drill a move, you're learning also how to shut it down in a way.
Yeah.
So that's I think a big part of it.
So that was last night. I was doing some who was I rolling with? I think I was rolling with Amir. He grabbed my leg, and he stopped because I started rolling one way, and he's like, "Yeah, don't roll that way." And I went good. And he let go.
Did he have like a bite on your leg?
Yeah, well, he let go, and I was rolling softly because I didn't know which way to roll. Like I didn't know which one to go in, and he's like, "Don't roll that way," and I went, "Okay," and he let go. I said, No. I said, grab it. I said, I have to learn this because I don't do any of this stuff.
Right.
So then he grabbed it, and then I pulled him closer, and I shot my foot to the floor, and I was trying to get it out like that.
Yeah. So
I don't like the leg stuff either, but at least knowing it and knowing where not to go.
Well, so that's the thing, right? That's the huge thing. If, like, there was a time when every time I got tapped to a leg lock, I would just mutter to myself, fucking leg locks, and then just move on with my life. But if you don't ever learn it, you'll never be able to properly defend it.
Yeah.
Right? Because just to know which direction you have to turn in, you have to know the difference between an inside and an outside heel hook.
Yeah.
and that's a very small, scratching the surface kind of statement.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can definitely hurt yourself because they're putting positions of leverage on you on your leg. Where if you go a certain way, like they're closing off a certain avenue.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's scary. It's scary shit, man.
Like if somebody puts an arm lock on you, you wouldn't just drive that way with it.
Yeah, I wouldn't give them more leverage with my arm. I would, I'm trying to take that away.
Leg.
Yeah.
This is a limb. You can send this that way and break it. This is the limb. You can send this that way and break it.
Dude, it's so scary. The leg stuff is so scary to me.
Yo, people that all right. We gotta stop talking about jiu-jitsu, but I'll say one last thing.
Wow, we do jiu-jitsu. You can talk a little bit about jiu-jitsu, then we'll get back to MMA.
Fair enough.
We do jiu-jitsu.
I'm sure we're never gonna get off it.
Well, I mean, sort of.
But I will say, people that just full send the hitchhiker on the armbar, that it makes me nervous.
Yeah.
Like it really makes me nervous when they do that.
So I got into it, not into it badly. I was rolling last night, and I don't know if I have like a little rib thing going on in the back from just getting slammed down. It's super sore if somebody does like a knee on belly to me, or they push me down too hard. I feel it in the back of my right ribs.
Okay.
So I was rolling, and purple belt. He was he's super good. You know who he is.
You're talking about?
I don't know his name, but I'll explain afterwards. But
okay.
So he's a nice guy. He's nothing bad. He didn't do anything wrong. But he starts doing a knee on belly, and I start defending it. But as he pushed into a knee on belly harder, I felt my ribs. So I kind of just like I kind of crunched into my ribs to get some of the pressure off. But in doing so, I left my arm out there. And because of that, he just really quickly grabbed it and ripped the arm down. And I was like, oh, man.
Yeah.
So it wasn't his fault. I just told him, I was like, yeah, I was trying to defend my ribs. And then I forgot my arm was up. So he's like, oh.
I mean, that's the whole chess game, right? Defend one thing, take something else away.
Yeah. I was like, oh, he's like, my bad. I said,
rook, get your bishop taken, that kind of shit.
Yeah. I was like, it's all good, dude. I said, don't even worry about it. So anyway, back to the weight cutting for this fight. You're going to be going to the steakhouse. You're going to be doing that. Are you just going to grab a little steak?
Oh yeah.
What kind of carb we getting?
Steak. I'm thinking potatoes. I'm thinking broccoli, and I'm going to salt the shit out.
Be careful with the broccoli.
Oh yeah.
It's a very gassy vegetable.
Yeah, but you want to put some fiber back in your system so you can digest.
That's cool.
Right?
Maybe asparagus.
Okay.
But then you're pissing out more water.
I've been eating asparagus and a salmon, and I can't stand it anymore.
I don't know. I know some dudes, especially in the bodybuilding world.
Yeah.
Because that was my world for so long. So that's.
Listen, man, I don't really give a shit about the broccoli. I'm focused on the steak and the potatoes.
Oh yeah, fuck yeah. Let's be honest with it. But for fiber, maybe there's something else, because I know there were some dudes that didn't want to eat anything like that because they would get like distended stomach. I don't know if but it depends on if it affects you like that. I don't know if it does.
Yeah. Okay.
Have you had broccoli and you feel gassy?
I mean, I'm generally just a gassy person.
Oh shit. Just ripping.
Chances are somebody farts on the mat. It's me.
Damn, son.
Yeah, people look at me like, I'm like, look, I'm exerting my body, okay? Like, it forces the gas out. I don't know what to tell you.
Coming out everywhere. Was that out of your ear or your ass? I couldn't tell where that was coming from.
Yeah, my friend said that I'm numb below the waist.
Yeah, that's okay.
Because they say because when I was younger, I was like, we've got some girls and like who farted. Like obviously I'm not gonna say I farted, and then it's like
like I heard it coming from her. It's like she looks around. What do you mean? It's like it was definitely her right there.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
My buddy.
You beat me down like this.
My buddy we used to invite girls over, and they, when girls like hunch, like they bunch up when they're awkwardly just like standing around before they get comfortable in a new place. Like my buddy would invite girls over.
Okay.
So he'd invite girls over, and they would just like huddle around together in like an area, and him and I would be sitting on the couch. And
that's not really too relatable.
That's not okay. Well, we saw it a lot. And anyway, he'd be like, "Yo, you got to sit down. You're making me nervous. Like, what the fuck are you guys doing? They're just like hovering over the back of the couch. Just sit down. Stop being weird."
Yeah. No, so like I didn't like when I was growing up, it wasn't like my group of guy friends and a group of girls, and like sometimes we hung out together. Like there was just like 2 or 3 or 4 girls that just hung out with us. You know what I mean? So everybody was kind of friends with everybody.
No, we would find randos. It was an interesting experience. Yeah. He was a big club guy. He would just be like, "Oh, I met these girls from this town. We're gonna have them come over and watch Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs." That was the big movie back then. Yeah.
Oh boy. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs and show.
Yeah, man, it was great. It was the best animation back then. That movie was awesome. If y'all,
I remember the first time I saw that movie.
that's what I'm saying. If y'all know Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, man, shout out to Jeff first off. Jeff and I sold home theater systems at Best Buy, so we had like the best TVs, the best everything. We'd be like, "Yo, come over." We had the 3D glasses.
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that shit was
I think
great.
I saw that movie in 3D actually.
Oh, it was awesome. It was
You
awesome.
have to see it in 3D with the
burgers
hamburgers and the sardines.
Oh, I'm gonna start getting you hungry. Don't start thinking about that.
Dude, my algorithm has been nothing but food lately. I am watching every time I see someone making something and splitting. I'm watching it, dude. I can't stop watching it.
Bro, I shot a video at Patrizia's in Marquee in
I love Patricia.
well, Patrizia's Marquee is the new spot in Comac. So it's a little bit more upscale Patrizia's.
Okay.
So that's their new restaurant. So I shot there last Friday, and if I show you those food images that I got, you'll bite my table. I need to just eat something.
I'm biting my finger a little.
Yeah, you bite your finger right off, bite that mic. But anyway, so when I was getting ready for my bodybuilding show, and I was dieting for 23 weeks, I dieted for.
Wow.
Yeah, I dieted for 23 weeks.
I thought I had it rough over here. I've been dieting for like 12, 14 weeks.
I was away at college, man. No partying, no nothing. Like
I hear you.
Fucking just zoned in, and that's all I wanted to do. Yeah. So, I wanted to do it, and I did it. But my whole algorithm and it wasn't even really the algorithm at that point. It was just my whole search feed was Food Network and what spots in Brooklyn to get ice cream after the show and this and that. I had lists of food that I wanted to eat and consume. And
I've been thinking about my whole week next week.
Yeah, my boys would come back from class and they'd see me just watching the Food Network. They're like, "Nick, what are you watching?" I go, "Yo, they're about to assemble this brownie sundae, bro. This shit's about to get crazy in here."
Dude, I love
They're like, "Do you want a few minutes alone by yourself?"
I don't really watch any shows on the Food Network except Chopped.
Chopped is good.
I love Chopped. Only because my aunt put me onto that when I was younger.
Yeah.
Like when my brother and I would hang out at her apartment, like that show was just always playing.
Yeah.
So that just kind of lives rent free in my head.
I think it was Chopped that the show was the show that the guy was on, but there was a guy who owned my mom's friend. I forget his name. Rustic Root, the restaurant over in Woodbury.
Yeah, I've been there actually before.
So I was either the owner.
Crazy about it, but I've been there.
Yeah, it used to be very good. Like a long time ago when they first opened, I think it was a different head chef, but the head chef that was there, I believe he won Chopped one year.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool. And there's a couple other spots on Long Island where they have Chopped inspired chefs that either competed or won.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
I take that back, actually. I also watch Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives.
Of course you do. Of course you do. You got to watch Action Bronson. Fuck, that's delicious.
Okay.
You got to watch Bronson's show. He gets some crazy food, man.
All right, I'll look into it.
Yeah, so we'll go to the food stuff after your fight. We'll have to line some stuff up and get some cool food.
Can I jump back on something real quick?
Jump in, man, because I had a couple of questions, but I want you to jump in.
Yeah. So I talked about when I had that respiratory infection about like 7-8 weeks out.
Yeah.
Knocked me out for 2 weeks. So when I finally get back into being healthy, I'm like, okay, this is, in a way, it was almost like the beginning of a new camp, right? Because I was training hard, and then I had to take like a week off completely, and then another week where I was just like training once a day, not being able to train the way I wanted to.
Yeah.
And then 6 weeks out, I get back in, and I'm like, all right, I need to refocus, right? I got healthy. Now I need to focus on staying healthy and getting in the best shape possible. And I had to make some adjustments. And I stopped training. I stopped training some sessions of jiu-jitsu, right? What I did was, what I replaced that with is what I started doing hot yoga again. And that did so much for me, right? It's been about 6 weeks now of me going 2 or 3 times a week. And at this point, I don't even need water in there anymore. When you put that in perspective, I'm sitting in a sauna for 60 minutes and I'm not drinking water. The fact that I built my body up to that, like the fact that the class goes by like that is kind of insane, because I remember how hard that was when I first started doing it.
You did a session this morning, right?
Yes.
How was it?
Great.
Yeah.
It was actually a wonderful surprise. So my aunt, the same aunt who put me on to Chop, is the aunt who put me on to hot yoga.
Oh, Auntie just putting you on to everything. Shouts to Auntie.
Yeah. So she's like 7 years ago, she put me on to hot yoga, and I've done it on and off since then. But for this camp, this past 6 weeks, I'm like, We got to get that weight down. We got to get that cardio up. We got to take care of the body. We're doing, I was either going to hot yoga twice a week, or I was doing one hot yoga class and one cardio/sauna session, and obviously doing way more. That's the other thing. I don't want to jump into this too much, but the other thing, 40 to 60 minutes of like 100, 110 beats per minute heart rate cardio has been a game changer for me. Helps my circulation, helps my recovery. That, more than those insanely difficult drills, has helped my conditioning. Like, you do those intense drills every day, body never recovers.
Yeah.
This helps the body recover, helps bring the heart rate down. When you came in and filmed, I've never had my heart rate drop down so much in between the rounds of that drill.
Yeah.
Right. And I've seen it on my whoop, on my monitor. Right. Usually it starts to spike, and then it goes like this, and then it goes like this, and then it goes like this, and then it goes like. Now it's like.
Yeah. You have a much more steady and greater capacity for heart rate variability.
Yes.
That's really what it winds up being.
Yes.
So.
Which is something that I've completely neglected throughout college wrestling, right? Something I've neglected up until this past 6 weeks, honestly. So that respiratory infection was like a blessing in disguise. I've been kicking myself in the ass a little bit, saying, well, if I knew then what I know now, but that's why when you first asked me about the difference between wrestling and now, I would say that I've learned a lot more lessons. I've gained a lot more experiences, and I'm definitely a better athlete, and it's better. I don't mean physically a better athlete. I make better decisions as an athlete now because of my past experiences in wrestling. And I didn't achieve what I wanted to achieve in wrestling, but that's okay, because I almost look at it like that was just 10 years of building up for me to have this, for me to be in this fantastic starting position as a mixed martial artist. And as feel good and awesome as that statement is, let's jump back on the hot yoga. So I had a pleasant surprise this morning, because my brother, he just got home from school a few weeks ago. He came to hot yoga with me this morning, and we get in, lay our towels out, and steamroller comes in.
Nice.
Dan, the Swiss Army knife from Switzerland, he comes about once a year, trains with us for a couple of weeks. He fights in Cage Warriors. Great dude, great fighter. Him, Steamroller, and Gary Rock come on in. And all of a sudden, I'm like, what the hell is going on right now? This is great. The fact that we all happened to be there, Dan and Matt came together, and then I came with my brother, and then Gary came in, and I'm like, this is awesome. We just all kind of happened to be here, So that made it fun. Definitely, right? It just takes the shittiness out of the weight cutting experience when you have those guys there with you,
Yeah.
And then as I'm leaving, my aunt's coming in.
Yeah.
And she was like, I remember she was originally going to come with us for the 10 a.m. class. And then apparently she told my brother she was coming at 11:30, but she didn't tell me. So I walk in, I'm like, whoa, what? So that was a very fun day. But the class was great. I think it was the 5th or 6th time I've done it consecutively without taking water into the room with me, which is very freeing. It's a very confident thing that I can just, that I can go through that. And I feel better about my flexibility. I feel better about, I'm obviously as light as I've ever been. I got down to 163 after that class
Today.
Yeah. So I
and the real weight cutting hasn't started yet.
No. Well,
it started, but it's not the drastic. End to
right now we're in the stages of we're starting to end the water load. The water load ends tomorrow, right? Yeah, the water load ends tomorrow at 6 p.m. So I'm basically gonna have a 24-hour period of this much worth of water, just slowly sipping it to make myself feel a little comfortable. So the water's still in my system. The carbs have been cut. The sodium has been cut. And then pretty much what's left to cut is the water and the calories completely. That's the toughest part.
It's a process.
But it's uncomfortable, but it's nothing I haven't done before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
well, you get comfortable. You get more and more comfortable with it the more that you do it. That's it sucks every time, but you are used to it. It's the same thing with hot yoga, saunas, ice plunges, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You train yourself to be more accustomed to, okay, we're going to get through this. It's cool. Like after the little bit of discomfort, we're back. Like, don't worry about it. And because of that, it's, you know, it sounds corny, but you do get stronger from it, mentally, physically, everything. Like every single time you go into the gauntlet, every time they close that MMA cage behind you and you're in there and you're facing your opponent, you're doing your thing, exactly what you prepped for. Yeah, laser focused, man. Every fight that you do makes the next one just a little easier in terms of the process of doing it. Not necessarily the opponent, but the process.
Yes. Every camp, right, has laid foundation for the next one.
Yep.
Which is something I really believe. I remember Lauren was going to fight. Lauren was going to fight in March in Ring of Combat. Might be wrong on the date there. But Lauren was going to fight at some point, right? She went through a whole camp. And she finds out like a few weeks before that the fight's off because the girl failed her medical screenings or something. And she was very obviously very emotional, very understandably very upset about that. But, you know, first thing that Matt told her was, listen, you still leveled up.
Yeah.
Right? That's like kind of what these camps do. They allow us to level up.
She's got a new fight coming up now.
Yes. Taking this one on.
Shouts to Lauren.
Yes, she's taking this one on short notice, and she's a little, you know, about that. But I'm like, listen, you're not coming off the couch. You've been in the gym.
Yeah, she's been training.
You've been in the gym. Yeah. You've been sparring. We got to dial in, and
she's not fat and out of shape. She's in shape. She just has to get a, you know, a fighting shape.
So yeah, this will be good. Yeah. I'm cornering her, which I'm very excited about.
It's awesome.
Yeah, my second time cornering, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, I enjoy really like being a part of that process too, like getting to be just there for somebody else when they're fighting. You know, I did that I wasn't cornering him, but I got to kind of be around it for the first time when Nas, Favola, and Dennis fought at Madison Square Garden.
Cool.
That was like the best week of my life. Like literally, I turned 23 in the hotel, you know, doing the workouts with those guys, fucking carrying the portable sauna around, picking up their food. I was so happy to do it. Right? I remember like one of the other fighters was like, yeah, man, this gets old after a while. Like me, it was like a kid on Christmas. I was in an elevator with Mackenzie Dern, like scared shitless. But, you know, dude, I was like face to face with Alex Pear and just staring at me, obviously, trauma, you know, again. But like, you know, I met DC, I met John Anik, I met Tom Aspinall, I met Yuri Prochazka, I met Alex Pereira. It was a crazy week.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was a great experience. I was very happy to be a part of it. You know, I kept getting thanked. I'm like, don't thank me. Like, I'm so happy I'm getting to be here to do this for you. You know? Like it's like midnight turning on to my birthday. You know, Nas is sleeping. So I go down to the hotel restaurant. I get myself a steak, a cheesecake. I don't know, a moment to myself there.
That's awesome, man.
Nice.
Some of those are the best moments, man.
Yeah.
And that's something that you're going to remember the rest of your life. That was a special birthday.
Yeah.
That was the real start of you doing what you are loving to do.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
your passion really coming to fruition in terms of like, this is what I'm doing now and this is what I want to do.
Right.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And I got to corner Marcus for his first pro fight with Matt in Colombo, which was great. Now I'm going to get to corner Lauren for her fight, you know, right after mine, which is like, and again, my friends that I grew up with, you know, we're always trying to like plan trips and stuff. We've done that every year, and I just haven't been able to commit to anything, even when I know when I'm fighting, because I don't know what else is going to happen.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know when Lauren's going to have a fight. I don't know when Marcus is going to have a fight. I don't know when, you know, somebody might say, hey, I'm fighting, want to come with me? And, you know, like I want to be able to take advantage of those opportunities. So it's hard for me to commit to things, but I'm perfectly fine with that.
You're on the path that you want to be on and that you need to be on.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, any path that you get on requires sacrifice. So when it comes down to it, you have to be okay, which you are.
I don't feel like I'm making sacrifice. That's the beauty of it.
Well, sacrifices in terms of that you can't hang out with the friends, you can't do the trips because you want to be available and have these moments that you're going to be able to take advantage of in a positive way.
And I'm not saying
so that is a sacrifice.
I'm not saying that I wouldn't like to do that.
No, but it's a sacrifice that
I
you're
don't-
saying that you
I
can't
don't
for right
feel
now.
like I'm making a sacrifice.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily that you're making a sacrifice in terms of like that I'm not hanging out with you guys.
Yeah.
The sacrifice is that you have to keep yourself available for the fights and the teams, and versus being able to go, I can commit to this weekend, we're good, let's do it. Like that in itself is a sacrifice.
Yeah.
So, but it's a sacrifice for something that you want to do and that you love doing.
Yes, I do.
So that's why it doesn't feel like one to you.
I just hope like, and then I'm getting a little, maybe it's just the hunger talk. I'm getting a little emotional right now, but like, I hope that if those guys, if my growing up buddies end up watching this, I hope that they know that like, they still are like my best friends in the world, that, you know, I don't like want to be saying no to these kind of things, but it's just kind of just feels like what I need to do for the path I've chosen. Maybe sometimes I feel like there's a tiny bit of resentment that I get sometimes, which I understand, but you know, this is kind of just like my PSA, like, hey, like I still love you guys. I still love, and if we can, you know, rent a house and just be idiots all day like we're 18 again, I would love to do that. But at the same time, I don't know what the board looks like, so I can't make those commitments right now.
Your real homies definitely understand. They always will. They understand that the path that you're on, you need to do certain things to continue down and progressing.
Sure.
And, you know, these things, cornering people, being part of the team, making sure that you know, because these people that you're also sacrificing your time for. So helping Lauren, helping Marcus, they're there for you on your fights.
100%.
So it's a camaraderie thing, it's a tribal thing,
Absolutely.
It's all of that. So, you know, when it comes down to it with friends, with you'll have a lot of friends and a lot of family that understand. But on the other side, you'll have friends and family that don't understand.
Right.
And unfortunately, the friends and family that don't understand usually get phased out. And it's not because we don't love them, it's not because we don't want to be around them anymore, it's just because differences start to become too much and schedules don't line up anymore, and at some point you say your last you it's kind of a sad thing, but it's a new chapter in all in itself. So at one point you had your last Xbox game with a friend, or you had your last hangout with them, or the last time that you ever went out to the last time you guys ever went out to get food. And you know, it's a sad thing sometimes, but people level up differently and go on different paths. And as long as you guys can come back to common ground at, you know, a year, 2 months, a month, a week, however long the duration is, as long as you guys can come back and the time feels like it never even passed, great. But for some people, it doesn't ever go like that. And unfortunately, people drift apart. So, you know, I had a ton of friends that I never thought that I would be without in life. And unfortunately, most of them have cycled out. But I've met new and amazing people like you, like Lauren, like my body, for real, like, you know, that our paths are aligned right now.
Yes.
And it's just interesting how life kind of pivots you into things.
Fortunately, I can't go like 3 days without seeing you.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. Just me with my rash guards and my poison dart frog.
Like, look at this. What am I looking at? You're wearing a fucking rash guard.
Yeah, but it's cool, bro. All right? Just acknowledge that it's cool.
Fucking rash guard.
Acknowledge that it's cool. Stop being a hater. Just acknowledge that it's cool. I finally grappled with Cal the other night.
What's that?
Callaway. Cal?
Oh.
Yeah, I grappled with fucking his name on Instagram. I finally grappled with him, and after the round, he was like, yo, bro, he's like, you feel good? Like, you're doing good, this and that. I said, yo, you've been waiting to take a piece of me since I came in with that flashy rash guard that first week here. And he started laughing. I was like, I know you were waiting for that. It's all good fun, man. Listen, man.
Damn it, Cal.
Yeah, dude, listen, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, and I'm gonna have fun doing it. I'm gonna have fun doing it, because otherwise, why be here?
I know.
I can't have bland shit. I gotta fucking pop.
I like your ass guard. I got it. It's okay.
I gotta pop a little bit. Just wait until you see the next gi I'm gonna get. It's gonna be crazy.
Oh boy, you already got a gi with Joe Rogan's face on it.
I do. Yeah, it's an all hemp gi, and it's comfortable as fuck. And unfortunately, my 2 Origin gis are too big for me now. They're so annoying. They're the A3s.
Okay.
Ever since you had me wear your A2, I'm like, this fits so much better.
Yeah.
People can't grab my...
You're like me. You're a little too stocky for that A3.
Yeah, man. And that my arms are definitely not that long.
No.
Yeah. So now I have to buy all A2s.
Yeah.
It's good coffee. Thank you.
Of course.
I love a cold brew.
Love.
So I did want to ask you. So
what's up?
The evolution as a fighter.
I'm sorry?
The evolution as a fighter.
Okay.
How has your approach to training and fight strategy evolved from your first MMA fight to now, preparing for this current one?
Okay. Good question.
Thank you.
So, my first fight, it was really just about, keep that jab coming out, keep my hands up, and not bring my hands back down here when I throw punches, right? Keep my hands up, keep moving, get close enough and take the guy down. And that's all she wrote. That was really the plan.
Did you lean heavily into the wrestling portion for the first fight?
Yeah, well, look, it was like we got to stick with our strengths here,
Yeah.
If I wanted to do a kickboxing match, I would have done a kickboxing match. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Right? But that's not the way we wanted to go here. And like you talked about before, every camp is kind of like the foundation of the next camp, right? So I haven't done any one camp planning to go in there and strike and win the fight with strikes. But every single camp, my striking has gotten better and gotten better and gotten better and gotten better. And that's
Which is
all
the
good.
progression of you as a fighter.
Yes.
So that's what you want.
So my first fight, it was really just about you keep your hands up. Don't keep your hands up and close the distance. That was it. And that's what happened. Second fight was pretty similar. Now, second fight, we knew the guy I was fighting was going to be a southpaw. So I had to strategize for that. Right? Because things do change a little bit. When there are people that will tell you it doesn't matter. It does matter.
It matters.
It matters. Not to go against JLP Sonnen, but it matters.
He's not gonna listen to this podcast anyway.
Just by example, for example, right? One of my biggest things is I use my jab, right? I'm coming forward, I'm putting the jab behind it, right? Chin down, keep that hand moving. Stocky guy, I like to grapple, I gotta close the distance. I use that jab, I come forward. With the southpaw, it's a little tricky. You don't want to do that because you're stepping right into their power side if you come straight in with that jab, right? So usually the first thing I do is not throw a jab when I'm fighting a southpaw. I need to move in a different direction. So those were things I had to work on. Fortunately, Marcus is a southpaw, so getting that kind of work in wasn't very difficult at all. And then my third fight, we started to really focus on the striking a little bit more. Started to focus on not moving straight back after I throw a combination, right? I come in, right? So at first it was get in there, throw punches, and then move out, right? Then it was get in there, throw punches, don't move straight back, right? Underneath, out to the side, an angle, or a hard break and a reset. Don't just step in, step out, right? You'll go back into a kick or something like that. So I've been working on coming in and coming out. The guy I'm fighting now, I'm not strategizing or preparing for him, but I've watched a bunch of his fights on YouTube because there's like 5 of his fights available on YouTube.
Yeah, why not?
So I watched them.
You gotta do your homework.
Yeah, and we've picked up on some things that he likes to do, some trends that he's done in multiple fights. So like, okay, we're gonna be prepared for those kinds of things. So that's something else I've worked on this camp. And like I said, when I had that sickness and I had to make that flip, came back in 6 weeks out, working on my low intensity cardio, working on the hot yoga, spending time in the sauna, in the sauna and the hot yoga room. And one part of that was obviously for the recovery aspect of it, for the cardio aspect of it. But the other part of it was to kind of get myself ready for this final weight cut. Because I'm doing, like, I did hot yoga on Monday. I did it again on Wednesday. Did it again today.
Thursday.
I'm doing it again on Friday. I'm going to be in the sauna Friday night. I'm probably going to be in the sauna Saturday. Now, if I had never been in the sauna, or if I had barely been in the sauna up until this week would be fucking miserable.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be able to stay in for that long. But I've built up a tolerance and a resistance for the heat a little bit. So that's been very important.
Yeah.
But back to fight strategy. Look, there's no secrets here. Beethoven the grappler, former Division I wrestler. Make no mistake, I'm coming forward. I'm going to put my hands on you. I'm going to put you on the ground. And it's not going to be fun down there. And there's not a whole lot that can be done about that. That's the way I fight. I come forward. I get my hands on you. I put you down. You stay down. That's the way I'm going to fight. That's what you're going to see on May 19th. That being said, what I am excited about is the ability to play the kickboxing game a little bit more on my way to doing that. Does that make sense at all?
Yeah. Incorporating more of what you're getting used to doing now.
Right. Like my first fight, for whatever reason, the guy I was fighting either didn't really know I was a wrestler or just wasn't really preparing for it that intelligently. He made it very easy for me to clinch him. He even engaged the clinch actually on me once or twice. So taking him down was no problem. Second guy I fought, a little bit different, right? He definitely knew I was going to try to wrestle, but he also couldn't really do that much about it. The first round, I shot on him. I took him down. Second round, he kicked me and I caught it. I used that to take him down. Third round, I start coming forward. He knows he's down on the scorecard. I start coming forward. I throw a right hand. I miss it. I get rocked. I break my nose. And then it ends up going back to what we worked on. Are we going
to get the nose fixed after this fight? You got to get the nose fixed eventually.
Well, look, it ends up going back to what we worked on in the first fight.
Yeah.
Keep your fucking hands up. Keep moving. Grab him and take him down. That's exactly what I did. And I remember I kind of like, everything just kind of went like blank. Not that like I got knocked out, but like all of a sudden like I got hit and then, whoa, baby. Cause
no, man, you get hit, man. It sends you into a different little thing.
I never been hit like that before. Just 4-ounce gloves, just a hard shot like that with all that adrenaline going. But again, hands up, move your head, get close to him, take him down. That's what I did.
You get right back to it.
I remember my nose was fucking leaking.
Yeah.
I'm on top of him. I have his legs up, and I'm just like, well, you are not getting up, man. You are not getting up. It was very frustrating fighting in that rule set because he was safe once I took him down because I wasn't allowed to hit him in the head.
Yeah.
You know,
is this the same federation now?
No. Well, so your first two amateur fights, they don't let you strike to the head.
Now you can.
Yes, I did in my last fight. I hit him in the skull like 30 times.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was far away. I was in the bleachers.
Yeah.
I was in the nosebleed section.
Yeah. Now,
getting my own nosebleed.
So look, out of necessity, right, I took the guy down and I had to just control him. Right? My submissions weren't submissions have never been as strong as my wrestling. Naturally, because 10 years controlling people, 2 years trying to submit people.
We go back to leaning into what you're good at.
Yeah. But I do believe my submissions have gotten a lot sharper. Submissions become more effective when you can also hit someone and force them to choose. Right. So we talked about before, right? You chose to protect your rib and you gave up your arm in the process. Right. So in addition to making you choose between different things I might attack in a submission, you also have to choose between getting hit in the head or putting your hand up over your head.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that plays into it as well. But yeah, it was frustrating because I could only control him on the ground and try to submit him, right? I couldn't actually damage him while we were on the ground. Not the case anymore. As you can see in the third fight, I definitely put some shots on him. I had him hip to hip on the cage and I just started hitting him. And I'm like, I actually counted. I watched the fight after. In that engagement, I hit him 28 times in the head. And then he still kept coming up. Kudos to him.
That's a few.
I grabbed the single, put him back down, forced him into the half guard, hit him some more, got the pass, got the mount. He bellied down right away. I grabbed his wrist. I started hitting him some more. And then I got a little carried away. I let go of the wrist and I started hitting him with both hands. And then he started to buck up. And that's when I was able to put the choke on him. So yeah, the strikes on the ground are a game changer. I believe this is actually a Henzo Gracie quote. You hit a black belt, he becomes a brown belt. You hit him again, he becomes a purple belt.
Damn.
You hit him again, he becomes a white belt. Damn. I guess we skip the blue belt. We go right to white belt.
Damn. What happens when I get hit?
Yeah, but it's true.
An infant.
It's true. Just imagine like that Gary had you mounted and you're trying to you're thinking about your hip escape, you're thinking about your frames.
No, man, you got to protect your face.
Your hands down here and your elbows tight, and all of a sudden you just start wailing on your head.
No. Yeah. No, I'm rolling over and I'm wishing I'm in a different dimension.
Yeah, that's where actually the wrestling comes back into play. Because right, if you're in a situation where your guard gets passed, I can't stay here face to face with him. What am I doing? I'm turtling up, not turtling, but I'm getting back to that wrestling bottom position where now I'm trying to stand the fuck up.
Yeah, turning hips over, get your power back, and then get up.
Yep. Kind of a long, drawn out answer there, which is pretty on character for me.
Nah.
But,
See, you just love talking on my podcast. This is when we get him at his best, when he wants to hang out, talk, chill.
But kind of an in summation is that as the camps progressed, the striking has really begun to evolve. Putting the strikes and the takedown has begun to evolve. Putting the wrestling, right, and the jiu-jitsu together has really evolved. The control with the submissions. I'm very happy with it. And I'm very excited for May 19th. And like I said, I'm telling you guys my plan right now. I'm going to walk him down. I'm going to set him up. I'm going to hit him. I'm going to take him down. I'm going to hit him some more. And then he's going to have to make a choice. He's going to keep getting hit until the ref stops it, or he's going to decide to give me his back and give up a submission. Like that's the way it's going to go.
Cool.
That's my plan.
I'm ready. I'll be ringside. I'm watching.
I'm here to impose my will.
I'm excited.
All right. Me too.
Symphony continues.
Yes. The symphony continues. And on all that note of all that evolution, I got to shout out Colombo over there.
Yes.
Because she's an amazing coach. And let's be frank, I definitely would have picked her out of a lineup as a striking coach. Just, based on...
She definitely flies under the radar.
What?
She definitely flies under the radar.
Yes.
Yeah.
But she puts so much energy and passion into me. And she's really a great coach. And very appreciative of getting to work with her. And we work really well together.
That's
awesome.
Good. That's what you want. You want a good team. Good team.
Yeah, man. And one of my favorite partners to draw the striking with, you got Joey Beans. Because believe it or not, Joey Beans can throw some hands, man. But he keeps a great pace, a great intensity. I love working with Joey. And Ann Sarah is a phenomenal kickboxer, phenomenal draw partner. She's been putting up with me in my sauna suit, sweating all over the mat as we, drill our combinations. But she's awesome. She's great. So shout out to Colombo, shout out to Ann, shout out to Matt, the head of the helm, keeping the whole thing running for me.
Master Matt.
So many guys in the gym that have helped me out with my jiu-jitsu. Sean Levy, Joey Beans, Anthony Palacino, Gary. I can't even name everybody.
Yeah. The entire academy.
Yeah, like I said, it really does take a village. I have all those people around me. I have Matt Frivola holding pads for me and come with me to hot yoga and, help me out with the weight cut and getting sparring. Dude, I got to spar with a ranked UFC lightweight. What other amateur fighter gets that, You're
just in the right environment. That's what this is.
Yeah.
All the pieces of the puzzle coming together.
Yeah. So Dr. Nick, obviously, keeping me healthy. I got a problem. He's working on me. Eric Prush, my strength and conditioning coach. He's helped me out a lot with the nutrition, with just keeping me healthy, keeping that muscle on the body, keeping me moving fast and explosive, right? That's the one thing that we never wanted to sacrifice is my rotational power, my explosiveness, my ability to switch my legs, that kind of stuff. He's helped me out with that a lot. And as you can see, as I'm naming all these people and all their different roles, and I haven't even mentioned Pops yet. Yeah. And my brother and the way.
Well, I have a question that I have a strong feeling that Pops is going to be the answer.
But you see how it really takes a village here, man.
Yeah,
it takes a village.
It does. I have another one for you, and then I want to ask you the last one, which is, can you describe your mental state and routine on the day of a fight? And how do you get into the right headspace before stepping into the cage?
So it's just a lot of excitement, right? Every time. I remember the night before the first fight, I couldn't sleep.
Yeah.
Because I was just so excited. Couldn't sleep. It's a lot of excitement the day off.
Wired without the caffeine.
What?
Wired without the caffeine.
Yeah.
Just ready to go. Because you've been waiting so long for this, right? And the day's finally here.
You just like it's
like Christmas when you're a little kid.
yes, literally.
Yeah, you're like, oh my God, I can't wait.
I don't feel that way on Christmas. I
don't feel that way anymore.
Holy shit. You're right. I don't feel that way on Christmas anymore. I feel
I
that
don't
way on
either.
fight day.
Yeah.
Fight day is a new Christmas.
Yeah, you go.
But yeah, I remember after the first weigh-in for the first fight, dude, I could not sleep. I woke up at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I could not go back to sleep. You know what I did? I watched Vision Quest.
Vision Quest. What's Vision Quest?
Vision Quest is like one of the only wrestling movies, like high school wrestling movies out there that's not god awful.
Okay.
So yeah, I just watched that. Like I watched Rocky. I was just like,
You see the new Iron Claw?
What?
Iron Claw with Zac Efron.
That's like a professional wrestling movie.
I think so. I think it goes from amateur to professional. With
Okay, I gotta check that out.
I think it was a family, like a real family that did it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know of the real people the movie's based on, but I haven't. I haven't really seen the movie other than some clips.
Yeah, they made my man take all the steroids for that.
Yeah, no, I saw Zach be looking.
His face and his body.
Gabrielle ain't leaving him now, man.
Bro, that shit. I sent it to my boy this morning. I said, yo, what did they put our boy on? Because that is crazy.
Because he looked like in that movie with The Rock, Baywatch.
Yeah, but this
Yeah, but like he looked good in Baywatch.
Bro, look at my man's face. His whole facial structure changed.
Yeah, but you saw Baywatch, right?
Yeah, he was just shredded though. He was shredded. This he has size.
Now he's a whole ass unit.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
So yes, a lot of excitement the day before, you know, and then
Better get up on that. You better get up on that mic. Yeah, you better.
The first time I fought, I was a little bit earlier on the card, so I didn't have to wait as much, you know. So just
was that better or worse?
So the excitement just kind of went right into it, you know. And then second fight, third fight, my third fight, I was like, I think I was the second to last fight. This time I'm like, I mean, we won't know how many fights got scratched until the weigh-ins tomorrow. But as it stands right now, I believe I'm like the 15th fight out of 20.
Okay.
So again, later on in the night. But so it's just a whole lot of excitement building up to it. And then you get to that point in the dressing room where it's just kind of like you just don't know what to do with yourself.
Yeah.
You know, because like everybody has to be there. All the fighters have to be there by a certain time, like before the show starts. It doesn't matter when you're fighting, you know? So then I got to sit there and wait, which is fine. But it is kind of weird sitting there. I'm used to it, you know, from the bus rides and wrestling and whatnot. But it's just that weird moment of like I just want to get out there already.
I just want to get it done. I've been waiting for this.
Once I start hitting pads, once I start moving around, that's when like that real excitement, like even bigger than before, just kind of comes in. And then this was so strange when it happened to me during my first fight, and it's carried over into every single fight. But I was so calm my first fight as I'm standing there, like waiting for the people to tell me that we can walk out now. Like you're standing there, like kind of in that little tunnel, waiting to walk. And I remember I'm standing there, and I was just like, I'm so calm right now.
Locked in.
I'm
You're
so
locked
calm.
in. You're just ready to go.
Yeah. And I used to have panic attacks before I wrestled. Like I used to get so nervous to wrestle, which doesn't make sense because there's less on a wrestling match. You know
Doesn't
what I
matter.
mean?
It makes sense for the time, though.
Nobody's there to see me. Nobody really cares if I win or if I lose.
You do.
I'm most likely not gonna get brain damage if I lose. You know what I mean? Like you get what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
but you care if you win or lose, so
Yes.
that's why you would get that way.
Yeah,
Because it means something to you.
yeah, of course. But you know, I would get just like very, very nervous, and I would really in those moments where I was warming up before I stepped out onto the mat. Mental torture, really, really bad. Not the case with the fight now. Just locked in, ready to go.
I think that goes back also to the first point that you made where you feel like you have the village and the team behind you as well.
Yeah,
You're
exactly.
probably more at ease and more calm because you have Matt with you. You have everybody with you.
Because like I said, I'm warming up for this wrestling match, you know, and I'm not really one of the guys that they're putting that much energy into. And I don't blame them for that. Like I wasn't the starter. I wasn't like one of those guys. So there's X amount of guys on the roster, there's only so much energy to go around from the coaches. I understand that. I don't hold them against that. But, and again, like I said, we made that transition into D1, revolving door of coaches. Hard to get that culture, that family thing going on. On the other side of it, Matt is as close to family as Matt's family.
Yeah.
The Sarah family is my family at this point.
It's an extension. Yeah, it's an extension of your family.
What?
I said it's an extension of your family.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm in the tunnel. I got Columbo with me. I got Matt with me. I got Ricky with me. Like, everything's good. I feel good. Like, everybody's like cheering for me, like getting excited. I'm seeing my friend. I'm seeing people I haven't seen in months or years because they came out to see me fight. Like, it's such an awesome, awesome, awesome feeling. So, you're just like, the excitement is just there, and I'm just calm. I'm cool because I have these people with me. And because of who these people are and the fact that they're with me and how hard I train and the guys I train with and all the work I've done, there isn't a variable in that cage, right? There's no, in my mind in that moment, there's no multiverse where I lost that fight. Like, I'm walking in there and that is my fight to win. I'm in control. And I really, really, truly believe that. And I understand that I'll get to the level where I won't have that luxury. Maybe. I don't know. But the difference between when I would step out onto a wrestling match, when I would step into the cage, when I step out onto the circle, put my toe on the line to wrestle, I was trying to win. When I step into the cage and they lock the door, I'm there to win. You feel me?
I feel you. I'm mopping what you're dropping.
I'm mopping what I'm dropping.
I said that last time and you gave me the weirdest face. You were like, okay. I'm like, yeah, bro.
No, I've stolen that line. I love that line.
Yeah, picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah.
That's what you're saying.
Yeah. I get it.
Oh, I get it. I get it. I know you get it.
Yeah. But yes, that's, and again, in a very long answer,
It's okay.
the way I feel about that mental preparation.
All right. Let me ask you this.
Okay. Oh boy, you just got serious on me now.
Support system.
Well, I mean,
Hold on. Who has been your biggest support throughout your journey and has positively influenced your career both in wrestling and now in mixed martial arts? I said it was a layup. Come on.
Pops, man.
I said it was a
Pops.
layup. Yes.
Pops, man, come on.
Shouts to Pops.
Look, he definitely wouldn't have chosen this life for me, but he's there with me, man. He's got my back. He's on the mats himself, man, because he wants to be a part of it, and it's awesome. And he always told me, I'm the captain. He just steers the ship. I tell him where I want to go. He's like, we'll make that happen. That's where we're going to go. With wrestling in high school, even in college, he would always tell me, like, regardless of what happened during the match, he would always tell me, I'm just happy I got to see you wrestle. And we talked about this last time. Some fathers are assholes. Some fathers are really hard on their kids. And I think wrestling is hard enough. And you're going to be hard enough on yourself. You don't need the person that's supposed to be your rock being hard on you too. Like, I felt like, again, I can only speculate, but I felt like if I had him coming down on me and forcing me to try to be better and stuff like that, that maybe I might have had more success. Maybe it would have brought something out of me, but I don't think that I wouldn't have learned the lessons I've learned on my own, and I wouldn't have kind of stuck through it the way I stuck through it on my own. And because of that, it's because of that passion, because I had this kind of like almost blind belief that what I was doing was going to lead me somewhere good, that I stuck with wrestling. Like rationally, I shouldn't have wrestled in college. Rationally, I should have went to St. John's and went to law school or something. I went to Albany. I don't know. But I really had this faith that if I put the work in, that it would lead me into the right place. And now it has. And I'll say one more thing about Pops. So when I turned 18, he basically told me that he's like, I don't have to take care of you anymore. You know, like you're like you can go and do your own thing if you want. He's like, and basically we call it like the contract or the agreement. Like we have an agreement pretty much, and I'm not gonna get into the details about that with you, but basically, he's like, you do the right thing, you stay out of trouble, you keep me in the loop, I got your back. He's like, if you go off and you want to do things, you can. You're a big boy. I'm not stopping you. But if you go out and do something and you don't involve me in it, and then it bites you in the ass, don't call daddy to come bail you out.
Yeah.
That was basically, that's the gist of it, pretty much. So, but now it's like, listen, you want to go in this direction, I got you. I definitely wouldn't be able to train the way I'm training if I wasn't in the situation that I have with him. He's just always been there for me. Like I said, his first response is, I'm always happy to see you wrestle. The one thing I hear from him every day is, what do you need me to do? Yeah, man.
He's a special guy, man. He's an unbelievable person. I'm very blessed to have met him. You, obviously.
Yes.
It's always a good time. We always have a good time rolling, and we make each other laugh. He's an awesome guy.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I will say though that Pops has said to me before that he wouldn't be like cool with this whole fighting thing if it wasn't with Matt. If it wasn't with
because he sees the family
Yes.
environment.
Yes.
He sees and feels what you do. It's just different.
Yeah.
He's not in the ring, but he is. You know that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I remember at one point. So you might be fortunate enough to witness this for yourself one time. You might have even witnessed it already. But when it's nice out, on a certain days when he's there at 7 and he's there at noon, you might catch Matt having a suntan out in the parking lot.
I haven't caught the suntan yet.
Oh, it's
I've
great.
seen videos. I've seen the video that you put up of both of you guys doing it though.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's great.
Yeah.
It's great. But at one point, we're just hanging out in the parking lot and talking, and I love those moments because look, Matt is one of the most authentic people I've ever met. Like, the person that you get on UFC Unfiltered is the same guy you get in the gym. It's the same guy on Looking for a Fight. You know what I mean? Like, he's always that guy. The same personality that people fall in love with on The Ultimate Fighter. The same guy that we see every day.
Yep.
But, in those, like, conversations, just a little bit, you get to hear a little, some other, you get to, like, just kind of, like, it's the same person, but you get to hear some private things.
Yeah, but a little bit more personal.
Yeah. So, it's very touching that I get to experience that. And to make a long story short, we were just talking and, well, like, obviously, right, I teach the kids class, I teach the noon class, I teach the wrestling class, right? Matt's my boss. Matt pays me, So we were talking about money, and he was just like saying, like, listen, I just want to make sure you're saving your money and this kind of stuff, so on and so. And he was talking to me about, like, certain things, and it was almost identical to the stuff that Pops tells me about, like, putting my money in certain places and so and so. And I went, home like that day or the next day, and I'm telling Pops about that conversation. And I'm like saying it's like almost word for, like, I'm like, did you tell Matt to say this to me or something? He's like, almost word for word. He told me the same stuff you tell me. And he goes, and what does that say to you? That he's looking out for you like he would for his own son.
Yep.
So it's really powerful, that relationship. The fact that a guy that had that belt around his waist sees me in that light, it's hard not to believe.
And it's a good feeling, man. It's a good feeling.
Man.
We got a good family. We got a good, just everybody, good vibes over there.
Oh, yes.
I'm glad we keep the vibes good because a lot of places can definitely get like cancerous vibes. And then if you don't get rid of it, it just festers in the gym. So it's been all good vibes at Sarah's.
You might have seen this. Like, there are people that are in the gym that get thrown out, right? Because they don't bring the right energy, and we don't really. There's one thing that there's zero tolerance for in Sarah BJJ Academy. It's bad energy.
Yeah, no, get that shit out of there. Go somewhere else. Don't fuck. We don't fuck with that.
There's other places to go. Go ahead.
Yeah, we don't fuck with that over here.
Yeah.
May 19th.
May 19th, baby.
We got the next fight. We're excited for it. We're gonna start the weight cutting, the real weight cutting, the next couple of hours to days.
Yeah,
It's gonna be a good process. You got to listen, man. You got a good head on your shoulders. You always have. You're focused. You're excited. All the things that you want going into something like this, you have.
Yes.
And I'm happy and proud to say that I'm a friend of yours, and I'm excited to see you just do your damn thing again.
Oh yeah.
It's going to be awesome, and I'm also very honored and privileged on the other side to capture the behind the scenes of you doing your thing as well. So that also means a lot to me. And bro, on ending notes, what else can I end on with you that you want to let people know? I'm fucking starving. I may go get the Fat Boy burrito. I'm not gonna lie.
I was gonna say
I may go get the Fat Boy burrito and like eat a quarter of it and then put the rest in the fridge and then eat the other half tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh my God, you're not gonna be able to move after eating that thing.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, that's why I got to eat a quarter. It's got to be a quarter now, a quarter tonight, quarter tomorrow morning. Yeah.
Let me tell you this though. I can't wait. I really can't wait for this fight. I can't wait to go to Little Vinny's after, get some pizza.
Let me know when you go to Little V's, like what time you're gonna be there.
Yes.
It's down the block from my house.
Yeah,
I'll come through.
Oh, we'll be eating some pizza, my man.
I'll come say what up.
I'm gonna have a couple beers too.
That's okay.
You all right
You
with
said
that?
the same thing last time too. That's all right. Have your beers.
I'm gonna have some pizza, man.
Have some pizza. Have your beers.
What's that?
I said have your pizza. Have your beers.
Yep. And I'm gonna go to bed, if I can go to bed. And I'm gonna wake up the next morning. I'm gonna go to Secret Deli, and I'm gonna get my Hungry Man, a large iced tea.
I love a Hungry
some
Man.
blueberry pancakes. Oh yeah, it's gonna be glorious. And then
He's still going.
then I'm gonna go to Fat Boys.
God damn.
And I'm gonna get my Fat Symphony.
The Fat Symphony.
May 20th, baby. Fat Symphony. I'm very grateful to Fat Boys for doing that.
Yeah.
Putting that together. It's awesome. You know, I get a burrito named after me. We get money into the wrestling program, which is great. And just to very briefly say this, I realized how fortunate I was to wrestle at Massapequa High School in a program where we have such a massive booster club, such a massive support behind our wrestling team, right? The kind of things that we had available to us when I was wrestling in high school, the kids I coach don't have available to them because just, the money behind it. It's a big thing. So hopefully the Fat Symphony sold pretty well and we've got a little bit of a chunk of change to help our boys next season. And I'm shouting out my sponsor, Fat Boys. I got to shout out Abe and Lifetime Chimney Supply. Abe is one of Matt's old school black belts. Quote Matt Serra, he's a loyal soldier. Man, he's a really great dude. And he has contributed so much to me in so many different forms, in a sponsorship, in buying tickets and buying shirts. And I don't mean buying like 1 or 2 tickets, 1 or 2 shirts. I'm talking like, he's made some big contributions. A really great guy. Really happy to have his support. Byron Divins, Capitola and Divins, attorneys at law. Yeah, it's another man from the 7 a.m. crew. I don't know if you know Byron from the 7 a.m. crew. Another great dude. He's been with me since the first fight. Throwing his support behind me. Never has anything but a smile and can't wait to see you do it. Let me know when I can help out again, which is really awesome. And then actually one of my silent sponsors is, I got to give this guy a shout out too. That makes him not that silent, but my very, very first sponsor, which is Rich Schaefer. He's a Town of Babylon supervisor. I made friends with him through Ricky, who's just a great dude. You could even call him my therapist, honestly, because literally, he'll be like, come over, sit down, we'll talk. Okay, and we do. So the support from those guys has been amazing. And if I'm talking about sponsors, how am I not going to talk about Warrior Garden, which is another way in which Dr. Nick and I have had a great relationship together. And, Warrior Garden, you're going to see their logo and you're going to see Lifetime and Fat Boys and Divins on my shorts. You've always seen me repping Warrior Garden. A lot of the content we shoot, I'm repping Warrior Garden.
Yes, sir.
And as you may know, the philosophy behind Warrior Garden is it's better to be a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And that has really been a testament to how I talked about being calm for the fight, right? That calmness, that stoicness has really allowed me to have the sharpest blade I can, has allowed me to really hone my skills. And one of the biggest things I had to learn, we may have spoken about this last podcast, one of the biggest things I had to learn coming from a wrestling room to a jiu-jitsu room was how to be calm. You know, how to relax, how to take a deep breath and start seeing things.
Yeah.
You know, so obviously, no matter what Dr. Nick named his company, made his philosophy, I was going to be behind him because that's my boy. But I really do have a connection and a sentiment to Warrior Garden.
Yeah. Dude, all good shit. I'm excited.
Great
It's gonna be a great Sunday.
Yes, it is.
And for all of you guys that listen to the podcast, to the episode, I appreciate all you guys. Hit that like, hit that share. Come support Beethoven on the fight on Sunday and his journey that he's gonna continue doing his damn thing on. This is big episode number 97. 97. Beethoven, right before his May 2024 fight.
That's right.
I appreciate you, bro, and I appreciate everybody for listening. So on that note,
Appreciate you.
The
Symphony continues.
symphony continues. But for now, peace.